Picture this, you're working 6 days a week, fighting burnout every second. While our generation is in a burnout crisis, I spent the last 7 years battling it, living for Sundays, that one chance to breathe before doing it all over again. Everyone said I was crazy, but let me tell you what I discovered during that battle. And by the end, you'll know if pushing yourself to the limits is worth it or the biggest mistake you can make. You know that feeling, right? You drag yourself home from work, you're too exhausted to cook, so you order some delicious junk food, you curl up on the couch, you turn on your favorite show, and before you know it, you're passed out. You wake up to a loud alarm, you're groggy, you're half asleep, and in the pit of your stomach, you're stressed, because you know you have to keep doing this for the whole week. 82% of employees will experience burnout this year. 66% of millennials experience high burnout. Gen Z and millennials report experiencing peak burnout by the age of 25. It's estimated that $1 trillion is lost globally by job-related stress. We are literally surviving the weekdays just to breathe and relax for the weekends. If you're struggling with burnout right now, whether you're in your career, a student, an Uber driver, or whatever it is, type burnout in the comments below. You're not alone. You start work ready to take on the world. You're doing great, giving your best every day. Soon that glimmer starts to fade. Each day becomes longer and harder. Your communication and your mindset start to become negative. You don't want to spend quality time with your friends and family. All you want to do is order junk food, curl up on the couch, and watch Netflix. This is how I spent most of the last 7 years. But in that time, I learned 3 key things to fight burnout that changed everything. I used to drive to and from work the same way for several years. When I used to pass this gas station, I would always see a man smiling. One day, I stopped to get gas, and I saw that very man. We started to strike up a conversation, and I asked him, "Every time I see you, you're always smiling." He started to tell me his life story, and that he worked in corporate America for over 30 years. During the tail end, he was getting miserable, he sold his soul, and he decided to quit. After a couple months, they begged to have him back, but he declined. He said he found more fulfillment and purpose in that gas station than he ever did in his career. As he told me about his life, there was one thing he said that I'll always remember. You can always choose to stay or go, to shrink or grow. The choice is always yours. Imagine you're talking with your grandparents and they tell you that when they were your age, the biggest goal that they wanted was to make $35,000 a year. So they worked hard, they grinded up the ladder, and they were able to make $35,000 a year, and they were happy for a couple of years. But something was missing. So then they said, you know what? We need a beautiful car. So they saved for a couple more years, and they got this beautiful red convertible, and they drove it in the summer, top down, wind blowing in their face, and they were happy for several months. But then something was missing again. Then they decided they needed to have a beautiful house. So they saved for 15 years, and they bought this gorgeous house, exactly the way they wanted it, where they were going to raise their family. And they were happy for several years. But that feeling crept up again, and something was missing. They looked back and wondered if they were ever really happy or if they were just on to the next best thing. If you can't enjoy the warm sun on your face, a nice coffee in the morning, or a hug from a loved one, you'll walk through your whole life and miss it. Make sure you take a breath, slow down, and be where your feet are. Imagine 2 different runners. The first runner is super competitive. They have to run almost every day, and they have to compete in one marathon at least once a year. Every time they run, they always have to track how they're doing so they can beat their last time. They actually don't like running. They hate it. But they keep doing it so that they can post their results for everyone to see. Now imagine a second runner. They don't care how many times they run, how far they run, or how fast they run. They literally just run because they love to do it. And when they do it, they get into the zone and they fight their demons. Which runner do you think will still be running after 20 years? And which runner do you want to be? Whether it's in your career or in your life, find something challenging that you love to do for yourself and not for anyone else. So that was the 3 ways I learned to fight burnout during my 7-year stint. Choose to leave or go, shrink or grow. Pause, take a breath, and be where your feet are. Do something challenging that you love for yourself, not for anyone else. Now you're probably wondering, was those 7 years of struggling with burnout worth it? It was for me, but that doesn't necessarily mean it will be for you. Let me explain. When I was younger, I didn't really learn a lot about myself. I thought that if I made money, I would be happy, and everyone I knew was working the same amount of hours that I was. I found out that although making money is important, making more money doesn't necessarily make you happier. Being a big shot feels nice for a while, but you eventually search for something more meaningful. Now, being able to grind and struggle your way through things does give you a sense of courage that you could take on future problems. I would trade all those weekends for time with loved ones, but life is lived forwards and can only be dissected in reverse. You have the advantage of watching my journey and thinking whether it would be worth it for you or not. At the end of the day, being happy, healthy, and with loved ones is never a bad idea. If you guys got some value from today's video, please smash the subscribe and like button. This is another episode with Dr. Roman. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.